Who's the champ of foolish fame? Let's crown the buffoon of the week by name. Comic crown and a goofy streak. The title goes to our champ this week.
Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else in between, class is back in session. Welcome to the fall session of Buffoonology 101. Gene Baradelli and Ross Galloway back here with you. How you doing, man?
I'm good. It's been a while. I even lost track of where we were last time we competed.
Don't you worry. I know exactly where we are.
I figured you would. That's why I was boycotting.
Oh, boycotting. Oh my good. Why? Okay, I know this is going to be bad before I even ask it. Why are you boycotting?
Listen, if the Democrats can run away from Texas to avoid a defeat, I can do it here.
Well, we had nobody trying to charge you with any violation of law for doing that, thankfully. It was otherwise known as a late summer break. So, didn't realize you were boycotting, but it's good to know now. But you know what? I can understand why you'd want to boycott. If I was on a 2-match losing streak, I'd boycott too. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else in between. Your boy won again. James Comey is the first 2-time Buffoon of the Week since we've been doing this. He got almost 62% of the vote compared to Jessica, what's her name? That I don't even remember why Ross picked her, but was for some reason, whatever. Because it was the end of the summer, it was kind of light voting. We got around 70 votes here. And yeah.
So, Gene, you mentioned James Comey is our first 2-time loser. You forgot to mention winner, whatever. He's a loser. You forgot to mention who picked him first and won with him.
Oh, it was mentioned all throughout last week's video.
I think we should get on the record again. I don't want people to think you picked him twice and won. You basically picked one of my winners and got a fraudulent win out of it. All right, good. Congratulations. Who did you pick last week? Let me pick that person. Hold on.
What exactly is a fraudulent win? How is it fraudulent?
I'm picking James Comey tonight for that.
Wow. Okay,
no, I'm
cool.
not.
Listen,
I'm not going to play your way.
You just said it. You're picking him. I'm holding you to it now. Okay, fine. I'll let you go. Whatever. How come all of my wins are fraudulent wins and all of your wins are righteous wins? Where do you get off?
Gene, you count the votes in the middle of the night with no transparency. I don't get to see. I don't get to touch.
I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, there's a reason why you don't get to touch anymore. And that's been discussed in many a court of law. Second of all, you don't get to see. People vote publicly right here on YouTube at buffoonology.com, which, by the way, is going to be going through a little maintenance recently, so we might not do it on there this week. We vote on X. We vote on Getter. You have access to all these things that you can just check out.
Yeah, but I heard you're counting votes from like your dinner table with your family. They just say it out loud verbally, and you're jotting them down on a tally sheet.
Absolutely not. They vote online just like everybody else. It's equality here, folks. You gotta love it. Everybody has the equal opportunity to stuff the ballot box here at Buffoonology 101. And speaking of how we do business here, maybe Mr. Galloway needs a reminder on how we do things here in this wacky little game show / social experiment / whatever you want to call it that we lovingly refer to as Buffoonology 101. Before the show, Ross and I have each selected our nominee to present to you for Buffoon of the Week. Each host will have 5 minutes to make their case to you as to why their nominee should earn your vote. The first 2 minutes will be uninterrupted by the other host, but after that, it's a free-for-all between the two discussing the nomination. The opposing host will then evaluate the nominee based on the criteria set forth in my award-winning best-selling book, Schnooks, Crooks, Lies, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores.
This guy is a grifter!
The nominee will then be given a score for buffoonish nature and buffoonish action magnitude on our Sharpton Buffoonery Matrix, but more on that later. After that,
we do it all over again for the other nominee. After all the nominees have been weighed and measured, each host will then have 1 minute to plead and beg for your vote for Buffoon of the Week. You'll get to vote online in the comments and on social media and at buffoonoftheweek.com. Vote early and vote often. No one's going to be counting whether you voted more than once. And now, back to the action.
And just one other rule that we need to talk about that we sort of instituted mid-game here. It's that whoever won the previous week chooses who goes first this week. And that would be me. Again. Hey, remember when you said like you were going to win 2 weeks in a row? And then I won those 2 weeks in a row? Those are some good times. That's some good stuff,
Those
right?
are great.
And both those times you went first.
Start picking your own nominees, and we'll see how it goes. But okay, I'm following.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm looking for ideas for another nominee. Maybe you should go first. Again, it seems to work out very well for me when you go first.
Let's go. All right, Gene. I got you this week, man. My pick is the woman that Donald Trump once lovingly referred to as a fat pig and slob, Rosie O'Donnell. Play the first video, please.
So about the Minnesota shooting, and it brought me right back to Columbine in 1999 when I just could not get it through my head that students in America were shooting each other in schools. And this was a church inside a Catholic school. And what do you know, was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person. What do you know? White supremacist.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows what she's referring to. She's referring to that shooting at the church in Minnesota. And she mentions, I can't believe it happened again. Students shooting each other, right? Kids of Democrats shoot each other every day in places like Chicago and Detroit. And I never hear a peep out of old Rosie O'Donnell. She wanted it to be a white guy. She wanted it to be a Republican, a MAGA person, a white supremacist. She got some nerve. Yeah, Rosie, what do you know? What do you know? Fucking nothing. You're a clown, right? The left is the party of anarchy and violence, hands down. They desperately want to blame Republicans and red states and white men. They never say a peep when it's white on black violence or black on black violence, right? Never. I never hear people like Rosie O'Donnell say a peep in those scenarios. Well, the last few active shooters happen to be in Fat Rosie's community. And that community is the LGBTQ fucking maniacs on meds, hormones, and other drugs community. Rosie tried to be the bigger man, though. She did offer this apology.
Hi, everybody. It's Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones. Listen, I have a cold sore. I know. Happens. Get run down, Anyway, I know a lot of you were very upset about the video I made before I went away for a few days. I didn't go online and haven't seen them till today. But you are right. I did not do my due diligence before I made that emotional statement. And I said things about the shooter that were incorrect. I assumed, like most shooters, they followed a standard MO and had standard, feelings of NRA-loving kind of gun people. Anyway, the truth is, I messed up, and when you mess up, you fess up. I'm sorry. This is my apology video, and I hope it's enough.
How perfect is it that she had to make that apology video with a massive cold sore herpes simplex on her lip? That was terrific, right? You didn't do your due diligence before that emotional statement? No, that was an hysterical, psychotic statement. She actually doubled down and then said that most shooters are NRA gun lovers. right? You messed up, you apologize, you hope that's enough. No, that's not enough. You need to pay. The NRA should sue her. The GOP should sue her. You need to bankrupt this evil cunt, just like they did to Alex Jones and Rudy Giuliani, right? That's defamation, if I ever heard it, against two pretty large organizations. What say you, counselor?
First of all, I just got to say, wow. My God, the ignorance and the audacity that mixes together that ends up in a massive blob that is Rosie O'Donnell. Unreal. I can't believe what she was saying. The news about who the shooter was, the identity, the name change, it was all out the same day. I'm trying to understand how could she be this ignorant and think that there's actually a profile for mass shooters when the Nashville shooter, the Uvalde shooter, so many other shooters fit this narrative. And to the point where the Trump administration is considering a gun ban for trans people. That's how much of a trend this is now. So you went with the stereotypical, bad white man, and then you expect the apology to cover it all up. I will give some credit for the apology, but it's more out of self-survival than it is anything else. Just ridiculous. This is the best example of ready, shoot, aim, forgive the pun, that I've seen in a good long while.
100%. And yeah, she obviously is ignorant, right? But she is the same type of leftist that will tell you that they should tell you about how you should get your health care, right? And which vaccines you should take. And these people think they can change the fucking climate, right? That's how absurd these people really are. And then when you see them, they make an absurd statement. Like you said, the news broke the same day that this happened of who this person was, right? But these people are going to tell us that they can change the fucking climate? Bro, she's
in fact, we covered it last week, how Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis, was trying to run cover in advance because of the identity of this shooter. So how could Rosie miss that?
The videos that came out online before the news even certified them as real showed BLM and Kill Trump and a bunch of other BS written on his rifle and ammunition, right? The guy clearly was not a MAGA Republican. And even if he was, this doesn't make sense. Like, they always try to target us and paint us with that broad brush, but most of the time it's actually them.
Absolutely. Well, looks like your time is up now, pal. So it's a very good nominee, I must say. It's better than old what's-her-name from last week. At least you picked somebody that people know, which is kind of important for our little game here. I found that out recently. So now that you've put forth this nominee and the reasons why, it is my job to place Rosie O'Donnell within our Sharpton buffoonery matrix. That's our visual representation of political buffoonery. And if you want to know more about the Sharpton buffoonery matrix, you got to learn about two very important things. We call them the buns and the bams.
Let's talk buns.
My buns!
No, not those. And definitely not those. I'm talking about our personal buffoonish nature. A decade of collective observations has shown that everyone, to some degree, has a bun. You, me, everybody. The size of their buns is directly related to a buffoon's propensity to do stupid things.
Look at the size of that thing.
And then there's bam, bam, bam. Buffoonish action magnitude. That's our measurement of how big a whoopsie a buffoon made. The bigger the mistake, the greater the magnitude. We then plug these values into our Sharpton buffoonery matrix, named for the alpha and omega of buffoonery, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Modern problems require modern solutions,
which is our visual representation of a buffoon's bum to bam ratio. And here's the best part. After we tally up the worst offenders, you decide. You get to cast your vote, share your thoughts, and you determine who earns the dubious distinction of Buffoon of the Week. which we'll record as the weeks go by.
So I gotta say, pal, the buns and the bams are gonna be in your favor with this one.
Mm.
You know, it's Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, she's got some pretty gigantic buns, and the magnitude of this action is going to be up there. So, as the video says, let's talk buns. Buffoonish nature for Rosie O'Donnell. Wait, you want to say something?
Yeah. So I know where to find this, but I think you should actually tell our audience where can they actually learn a little bit more about buns and bams. We use these terms like everyone knows what the hell we're talking about. I know the video just explained it, but where can they actually get a little more detail?
I am so glad you asked, pal. It's very simple. They can all go to my award-winning Amazon best-selling book, Schnooks, Crooks, Liars, and Scoundrels, A Field Guide to Identifying Political Buffoons. That's available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores.
This guy is a grifter.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to grift there.
Listen, man, I'm very proud of you for writing that book.
Well, and you'll find out in the acknowledgments how a certain Mr. Galloway is one of the forefathers of Buffoonology and what that actually means as well. So I was getting around to saying that Rosie O'Donnell has a pretty long history of having a buffoonish nature. She's an alumnus of The View. We all know how those stints went. She always seemed to raise a controversy there. So much to the point that she raised the ire of one Donald Trump during his first presidential campaign, to the point where Donald Trump has driven her out of the country, and she's now a resident of Ireland. And let me just say to our Irish friends out there, we're sorry, but we're not sorry. We're really not sorry. Thank you very much for taking that in. It was either there or Uganda. So that being said, given her long history, and she's continuing this diarrhea of the brain, diarrhea of thought, just garbage in, garbage out, her bun is going to be high. I am going to give her a 74 for her bun scale. She's been around for decades. It's staying power. And she's been making the same ill assumptions and spreading that bile wherever she's been when it comes to political circles. So 74 on the bun. And let's just get this out of the way as well. This is definitely Sharpton-esque. Speak before thinking, making a huge mistake publicly. Yeah, that fits the bill. So in honor of the blessed saint himself, St. Patrick, I'm going to give Rosie O'Donnell 17 gigasharptons for buffoonish action magnitude. These videos have been seen far and wide. Everyone has made fun of her. Everyone knows what a buffoon she is. And by opening her mouth again without thinking, she reinforced and confirmed what we all already knew. But it's good to have that reminder that she doesn't think, she doesn't do due diligence, she relies on her own stereotypical thoughts, and that she remains the same buffoon, unchanging as the seasons. She's still there, always the same buffoon.
Well said, Gene. I don't rely on luck in life, but I'll take the luck of the Irish this week, hopefully. And by the way, Ireland, no backsies. It's a one-way trip. You're keeping her.
What do the dealers do when they leave the table and they never come back? They go, one of these things, right? You can have her. Before we get to my nominee this week for Buffoon of the Week, I want to let you guys know that this episode of Buffoonology 101 is sponsored by Freedom Chat. It's a next-generation messaging app that keeps your conversations actually private. Whenever I would communicate with Ross when we were working on political stuff, we had group chats in the past, and frankly, I didn't like any of them because I always knew that somebody was always watching, whether it would be just a regular SMS message or one of those other group chat apps that were out there. We always knew that Big Brother was watching, our information wasn't exactly secure, and that it could be sold to the highest bidder at any time. With Freedom Chat, we don't have those worries, pal.
No, we definitely don't. And what I did want to tell people, it's growing exponentially. Every day I get several alerts to my phone of new subscribers, people liking the content. My recommendation to people is get in on the ground level and get in on the fun. I'm having a blast on there.
And what Ross is talking about is our Buffoon of the Week channel on Freedom Chat, where we post behind the scenes content. We let people know in advance when our videos are going to be uploaded to our various social media platforms. And every now and then we'll have just exclusive content that goes up discussing either a preview of what we're doing or something else going on in our lives. But yeah, we're getting new subscribers on that pretty much daily. We're one of the top channels right now on Freedom Chat, and it's just going to grow from there. Freedom Chat does not track you, does not track your data, does not keep any of your information on any server. Freedom Chat features end-to-end encryption that includes no storage of messages on any server and no commercial use of data whatsoever. Your information is yours to the point where you can post and then detonate it. You can just get rid of it, delete it from all sides of conversations. I know that Ross and I kind of love that we have that feature. And you can have a lot of fun with that too, with group chats and put things in there and maybe gaslight a few people. It's a little fun, but it's also a very important tool for other people. But you know us, we love having a caper or two. So check it out, Freedom Chat. It's available for Android and iPhone. You can download it wherever you get your apps for your device, or head over to freedomchat.com and download it there. So for my nominee, we're going to play a game of Where Are They Now? Buffoon Edition. Because we've seen a lot of buffoons come and go here on our channel the past couple of years. But we hardly ever get to check in on some old favorites. And one of those old favorites is this week's nominee, the man who used to be Don Lemon. Don Lemon, you may remember, had a primetime gig on CNN. He had his own show for many years, was basically giving carte blanche to talk about whatever he wanted to talk about, whether it be disappearing crashed airplanes in Southeast Asia or anything else he wanted to talk about with his buddy Chris Cuomo. And wouldn't you know it, both Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon are no longer at CNN, yet Donald Trump remains. Interesting how that happens, but I digress. Don Lemon is one of those has-been journalists that tried to make it on their own, first on X, and then within one interview, Elon just detonated that endeavor. And now he's on YouTube trying to remain relevant, being the man on the scene and an investigative reporter. He was seen recently with a bunch of freaky-loos and wackadoos invading Marjorie Taylor Greene's office, a group of people who want to impeach Donald Trump. Take a look at this nonsense.
After you. Come on. After you. After you. Hello.
We're here with the folks to see the Congresswoman.
Yeah. She's not available right now. I'm so sorry about that.
Is she in?
You guys can contact her office at a different time if you guys would like a meeting with the Congresswoman.
Well, can we leave word for her?
Sure, you guys can pass along the comment.
Yeah, we would like to make sure that she knows that we need to get Donald Trump impeached and out of office. Okay. My name is Carlos Alvarez Arantes. I'm the founder of American Opposition. I'm sure you've seen the protests on the streets and the Tesla boycott and all of that. We were one of the organizations that started that. This is Jessica Denson with the Removal Commission.
So I'm going to have to ask you to stop recording. This is a private office.
Yes, and we're here to see the Congresswoman.
You're not residents of our district and you haven't requested
Yes, well, we're here requesting a meeting.
Well, again, your group is still recording. If you continue to record,
Well,
we're going to have to contact the Capitol Police.
Okay.
Well, no problem.
Do you know when we can get her or be in touch with you back?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean,
But we're here. We have a legitimate concern.
Where are you from?
I'm the founder of American Opposition. I should have seen the note from the ground.
I'm sure.
Yeah, the protests on the streets.
Yeah.
So
I'm a former Trump supporter and staffer. I was his magnet as she was 8 years
she's the woman
ago.
that got the non-disclosure agreements with Donald Trump's
Flying on the
non-disclosure
plane with
agreements.
Donald Trump.
And this is Don Lemon, and we're here visiting, and we'd like to let her know that we are.
Okay, there are ways that you can request an interview with the congresswoman and bombarding our office and
Oh no, we're not bombarding. This
We're
is
not
the
bombarding.
people's house, and
We're
we're
very
very
civil people
peacefully
here.
coming here to talk to you.
Yeah.
American citizens, we can
You
help.
can reach out to our communications.
And what's your name?
Can I get one, please?
What's your name?
I don't.
You don't?
Yeah, you work for us.
You work in
We work for the people of Northwest
Oh,
Virginia.
no, you work for the American people, and your salary comes from the tax dollars.
They say that you can learn a lot about someone based upon the company they keep. Lord knows I've had to fight with my own accusations from hanging out with Galloway. But that being said, look at who Don Lemon is traipsing around the Capitol with. Carlos Alvarez, who claims to be the head of a group called American Opposition that was involved with all of the Tesla protests that no one cared about and was really annoying during the early part of the year. But let's also take a look at some of the other characters that Don Lemon has chosen to associate with in this particular endeavor.
This is treason.
Real blood and a real gunshot wound. Do you believe that this man's ear could have healed that quickly without any scar? No.
Just give us ketchup.
It wasn't blood, I'll tell you that much.
I don't know. I know I do. There are people have theories that it was staged.
Why do you think professionals come out and scrutinize that? Why would the doctors be able to?
Remember when people used to talk about QAnon? Meet Blueanon. And Don Lemon is right in the heart of it with a nice-sized group of people. Dare you say that they're invading the Capitol in mass like that? Look, if you want to go meet with a member of Congress, there are ways of doing it. You go through the channels of talking to the press secretary for the office or whatever. Going like this, not the way to do it. And Don Lemon choosing to associate this way, oh, how the high and mighty hack has fallen, perpetuating conspiracy theories about the attempted assassination of a president? Really? Buffoonery, complete and total buffoonery. Don Lemon could have happened to a worse person.
Yeah, man. I mean, he doesn't know if Trump was actually shot. He said there are theories out there. Really, Don? You were on the most trusted news network, or whatever they used to say about, CNN. Yeah, this looks a lot like insurrection, right? That's the definition of it, I guess. They asked him to leave. They didn't want to leave. They delayed leaving. And I would charge him an insurrection. More importantly, Gene, who was the black guy with the leather cowboy hat in that video? That's who I wanted to hear from, not Don Lemon.
It takes different strokes to move the world, man. There's a lot of people out there. But for me, it's the descent of Don Lemon into an echo chamber journalist. We thought he was bad when he had a national spotlight. He is now in the morass. He is down in the depths, in the dregs of, like I called him, Blueanon. He's a man in search of audience capture. Nobody wants to associate with Don Lemon that's reputable. So he's got to go around with activists who put on protests outside of Tesla facilities and who invade Marjorie Taylor Greene's office of all places. And he's like, oh, yeah, can I get her press contact as well? You freaking buffoon. You used to have the keys to the kingdom and you fucked it up. Good for you now. This is what you deserve.
What was
I'm all about kicking a man when he's down, pal.
But what was the point of all that, to be honest? Like, what were they there to ask Marjorie Taylor Greene? Like, she's not a leader of our party. What were they there to ask her?
To vote to impeach Donald Trump. That's the fool's errand that Don Lemon is covering right now. Because he's not going to cover anything else of any note. His word, his credibility is shot. He's a cocky-duty, boopy head buffoon. And that's all I have to say about that.
I think it's kind of funny, Gene, that both of us picked losers that are both like clinging to their past relevance. Neither one of these people have anything to say that anybody really cares about now. And that's actually going to hurt their scores a little bit. But well played.
That is such a good point, though. They are two buffoons that used to be somebody, and now they're not.
And now they're not.
It certainly says something about the left, how their burn rate through people is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I will say this, though, and this is probably both of them. In the age of the internet, even though you are a has-been, or like in our case, never was, just because you were a has-been doesn't mean you need to get off the stage. Both of these people could live good lives and not be on our show, right? But they've inserted themselves into the public discourse and warranted a nomination here.
You know what it is, pal? And I don't want to take up too much of your time for the scoring, but it's like the U.S. Open. Not everyone gets to play on center court. That's why there's court 10 and court 12 and the outer reaches of other people playing.
Yeah, well said. I mean, so this guy, Don Lemon, the nature, buffoonish nature. I'm jaded because I hearken back to the bad old days of COVID when he was on CNN and him and Chris Cuomo would do their little banter as they handed off one show to another.
God.
And Don Lemon would say the most racist things against white people and the most absurd comments about people who wanted more information about the vaccine before they got it. Like, this guy is a real loser. So buffoonish nature, he's up there in the in the healthy part of the pack. I'm giving him a 75 because even though he's not on a network anymore, who cares? He's inserting himself in and he's saying dumb things and doing dumb things and associating with dumb people still. So 75 it is for buffoonish nature.
I appreciate that. Can't wait to hear about the BAM.
So the BAM, you might be a little disappointed here. I will say this, and I might be stealing this from a conversation we had earlier. He's basically the ringmaster of a traveling circus in that video. Yeah, it's funny. It's entertaining to watch. Is it really impactful? No. Is it really that important? No. He went to MTG's office, another person who's basically irrelevant on our side. I don't know why people think she's the leader of our party. Like, she's barely ever on TV, and none of us think she's the leader of our party. But we'll put that aside. It is Sharpton-esque because I think that Don Lemon exemplifies Al Sharpton and his MO, if you will. So I'm gonna give him 6 Giga Sharpton. That puts him healthy in the healthy area of where Corinne Jean-Pierre was on one of her dumb things and a few other people. He's not as bad as Jake Tapper. I can't put him above that as far as what Jake Tapper did with his book. But 6 Giga Sharptons, I think that's fair.
I think that's fair as well. This is the political buffoonery equivalent of bubblegum. It's a flavor for a moment, but then it gets all hard and rubbery and gets thrown away very quickly. So we've seen a lot of that. You know what? Note to self: political buffoonery bubblegum for the store. Let me just write that down real quick. But yeah, I think that's the right score right there. And maybe we can get Fruit Stripe to sponsor some gum, because isn't that the one that goes really, really quickly with flavor and then gets thrown out real quick?
That's it. And it just tastes like a piece of plastic in your mouth.
And that's a fitting way to end our discussion of Don Lemon. Tastes like a piece of plastic in your mouth. All right, gang, we have delivered to you our nominees. And right now it's time for us to make our final pleas to you as to why you should vote for either my nominee, right here, guys, or the other guys, if that's what you really want to do, or whatever. So, Mr. Galloway, you get to go first whenever you are ready.
And go. All right, Gene. I'm going to do something that I've never done on this show. I was wrong. I was wrong about Rosie. And I made some emotional statements. I messed up. I didn't do my due diligence. I assumed she was just following her usual MO of being a fat, ignorant hater and loser. She was. right? Rosie is all those things and more. Definitely earned your vote for Buffoon of the Week. Bonus content, Rosie O'Donnell, I hope you sleep well at night knowing that you are probably the reason that Donald Trump won in 2016. That debate moment was his breakout moment in 2016 where he clearly got ahead of the pack. And I just want to point one other thing out, Gene. I know my time is running low here. Gene's MO, speaking of MOs, he picked a gay black man who was fired from his job. Great job, Gene. Way to fill the stereotype.
I knew he was going to go there. It was just a matter of time.
Okay, your turn.
You know, all joking aside from Mr. Galloway, picking on an expat like Rosie O'Donnell, kicking her while she's down, disgusting behavior. If you're going to kick someone while they're down, let it be a black gay man like Don Lemon. Don Lemon has had a much bigger fall from grace than Rosie O'Donnell has had. He was once one of the kings of media over at CNN, a leftist darling. And look at him now, as Galloway said, the head of his own three-ring circus of buffoons. You wouldn't have believed it if you hadn't seen it, folks. Don Lemon is down, out, and deserving of your vote this week for Buffoon of the Week. And I'm not even going to use up all my time other than to say, fuck you, Galloway. I'm not a racist. Son of a bitch.
Oh, that was great that you said it too. It's so perfect.
It's not perfect because I'm not that guy.
Don't pick Gallows lesbian white woman. Pick my gay black man.
You're the worst. How dare you pick it? How dare you use my words against me? Well, folks, listen. All joking aside, the polls are now open. You're going to be able to vote this week on YouTube. You're going to be able to vote on X. You're going to be able to vote on Getter, in the comments on any social media platform where you see this video. Tell us who you got for Buffoon of the Week. You know, I'm so glad that I've built up my reputation as a credible attorney just so you can come on here every week to just slander me down to the ground.
You know what we need to do, Gene, on all of these shows? You need to run a disclaimer on the bottom. The views of Ross Galloway do not necessarily represent